So GB News spent days promoting a supposedly blockbuster, incredible, groundbreaking interview with Donald Trump conducted by British politician and broadcaster Nigel Farage. And I have to tell you, this is one of the most bonkers, off the wall interviews I've ever seen Trump do. It's essentially 100% an interview about cultural issues like cancel culture and what does Trump think about Meghan Markle. Antifa and Black Lives Matter comes up in this first clip. And even right off the bat here, Trump jumping right into police related stuff, which is just crazy because police were attacked by his supporters on January 6th. No mention or support of those officers, but plenty of mentions of it was actually Antifa and BLM who did bad stuff. Take a look at this, just off the wall, alternate reality.
Now, either way, we've got Biden and Harris in office, and they've got plummeting poll ratings, and we've got a border crisis, as you quite rightly said.
Remember, everything here is sort of a lie. Plummeting poll ratings, still higher than Trump. And the border crisis, where essentially nothing has really changed since Trump left.
Law and order, the Black Lives Matter movement, which is now becoming increasingly, I think, political, don't you?
It's shocking that it started off, with pigs in a blanket, right? You know that, right?
Yeah.
You know the expression, fry them like bacon. And that was about our police, our great police. And all of a
sudden, the great police, where Trump doesn't say anything about the police that were tased and etc. on January 6th by his supporters.
This becomes mainstream? I don't really think so. And Antifa, bad, very bad.
Bad.
And they had Antifa in that rally. They had Antifa leading a lot of people on that day on January.
No evidence of that whatsoever.
And I will say that it's pretty incredible that nothing happens to them, but the other side, this has been going on for many years.
There is no evidence that Antifa individuals committed crimes on January 6th. That's why there are no cases against them.
They're not just about racial equality then.
Well, I think they're about politics, but I think they're about a lot of other things. If you go back to their original founding and what they were saying, kill the police. What they're saying is kill the police.
I know.
And that becomes mainstream. Not good.
Not good, says Donald Trump. Next clip. Donald Trump claims that now we aren't globally respected anymore. We have objective data about that. The U.S. reputation was lower than ever under Trump. It has now recovered to some degree under Biden. Is Biden perfect? No. Is his foreign policy the stuff of dreams? No. But by every measure, the U.S. is more respected now than under Trump. But Trump doesn't care.
But Biden, G7, Biden turns up at the G7, and this was before he let everybody down in Afghanistan, and which leaves us wondering, where is America in the world now? I mean, we've got big threats, haven't we? We've got a lot of Russian troops on the Ukrainian border. Yep. We've got China, ever more bellicose in their statements about Taiwan. We've got Iran. I mean, can you believe it? Negotiations are going on this week with Iran, and the Israelis are very, very scared. Where is America in the world right now?
I think it's at the lowest point it's ever been at.
There is no objective way to defend that statement. It is objectively a lie.
I don't think it's ever been in a position like this. We're not respected anymore. I will tell you, there were no planes flying over Taiwan. And the name wasn't even mentioned. You didn't talk about Taiwan when I was president. It wasn't going to happen, what they're doing now.
Trump knows nothing about Taiwan. That's why he wasn't talking about it.
And they'll wait till after the Olympics, I assume, and perhaps something will happen. But it's not good if you're there and you have bombers flying over your...
So Trump just wrong. There is the reputation of the U.S. has started to recover. It's not perfect. It's not perfect, but it was at the bottom under Trump, where Trump wasn't even party to many important global discussions, including on climate, as we've mentioned before. OK, next clip. In this one, Trump says something. Let's see if we can figure out what it is even that Trump is saying here.
I'm not a fan of hers at all. And I think she's
sorry. This is the Meghan Markle clip. In this clip, Trump says he's not a fan of Meghan Markle. OK.
I'm not a fan of hers at all, and I think she's very disrespectful to the Queen that we just spoke about, who's such a great woman, who's such a great person, historic person. I think she's very disrespectful to the royal family, but maybe most importantly to the Queen.
And what's wild about this is, Meghan Markle and her husband, one of the princes, I don't care about the royals. They made a decision together, right? I mean, about separating from the kind of traditional life of the royal family. But Trump's not a fan of Meghan Markle specifically, kind of just all very weird. Then here's a strange clip. Trump says something was a big mistake. Let's see if we can figure out what it is that Trump says was a big mistake.
I heard you through Twitter. It was for you, something that you used to massive effect. Oh, Jack Dorsey is being removed as CEO of Twitter because of shareholder pressure, but whether that means they'll improve as a channel or not. I mean, I was amazed the day that the Taliban, you mentioned Afghanistan a moment ago, the day the Taliban took over Kabul, I did put out a message that said it seemed ridiculous that their leadership was still active on Twitter, and yet you were still banned.
Well, they were wrong in what they did, and we're dealing with the United States president, who's obviously a popular
So when he says they were wrong, is he talking about the Taliban or Twitter? Like, it's not totally clear to me.
president, based on everything that you see, and them and Facebook, and I think they made a big mistake. I think if they had it to do
Okay, I guess he's saying if Twitter and Facebook had a do-over about banning him, I think.
over again, they wouldn't be doing it. We are... we get the voice out. We have to do it. We have an obligation to do that. But he's leaving. I guess it was probably enforced because they're down. And also, there's no excitement on Twitter anymore.
Okay, so I guess he's saying Jack Dorsey is leaving because Twitter isn't doing so well. It's all just very, what are you talking about, dude? Trump is asked about 2024. He seems to be signaling that he is running.
Why on earth would he consider going back into that hell again?
So I love our country. I brought the country to a level it's never seen before.
Right.
Then we had COVID come in, and then I brought it back, came up with vaccines that you're using, we're all using, the world is using, saved tens of millions of people throughout the world.
So now he's for the vaccines.
In less than 9 months, it was supposed to take 12 years.
Now, it was never supposed to take 12 years. We knew from the start these vaccines would be based on an mRNA platform. The platform had been researched for decades. Nobody thought. What Trump is saying is there are times in history where the development of some vaccines could take 10 to 12 years, often 6 to 8. Nobody ever thought it was going to take 12 years with the mRNA vaccines.
Just heard the other day, they were expecting it to take 12 years, and everyone said it wasn't going to work, and they work incredibly well. We've done an amazing job. If you love the country, you have no choice. It's not a question. It's just, this is a wonderful, beautiful life. But I like that, too, because I was helping people. That's why I did it. And I think you'll be happy in the future, too.
So Trump, again, with this idea of if you love the country, you got to run. And I think you're going to be happy in the future. He seems to be signaling he's going to be running. And then finally, no Trump interview is complete without Trump bragging about the size of his crowds.
So looking ahead, from here,
Yeah.
is the message to look back at November 2020 and to condemn and criticize much of what happened?
Yeah.
Or is the message to look forward and try and make sure that weakness in the system can't exist again?
I think it's both. I think it has to be both. We have a base in Alabama, as an example. I had 69,000 people recently show up. Wherever I go, I think I'm getting bigger crowds now at the rallies, and you know the rallies because you've been to plenty of them. I have the biggest crowds I've ever had.
When he says now, by the way, he hasn't done a rally in months and months and months. So a wacky interview. But the big takeaways, Trump's still bragging about the same stuff without any basis. And he seems to be leaning towards running in 2024. One of our sponsors is Splendid Spoon. Now, if you're like me, I love planning my meals out for the week, but sometimes I just run out of time to plan them for every single day. And Splendid Spoon makes that whole process a lot easier. They deliver fresh, delicious, plant-based meals right to your door, ready to eat. No cooking, no cleaning dishes, saves you a lot of time. You can choose from over 50 hot and cold meal options. There's smoothies, grain and noodle bowls, soups. I'm a big soup guy. Many of you know that. I also really liked the vegan meatballs with marinara noodles. Delicious. Both I and Splendid Spoon believe eating more plant-based is a great tool for feeling good, for helping the environment. The list goes on. I'm not vegan. You all know that, I think. But Splendid Spoon is really great to just help me maximize the proportion of plants in my diet. Splendid Spoon takes all of the work out of tasty, healthy, plant-based meals. And you'll save $35 when you go to splendidspoon.com/Pacman. The link is down below.